Welcome back. Today, we're diving into a coin that has quietly fascinated collectors and investors alike for decades. The 1962 Abraham Lincoln penny with a D mint mark. Now, while not every example is a showstopper, there are verified cases where select specimens have drawn attention from serious buyers, sometimes resulting in life-changing sale results for collectors who knew exactly what to look for. If you've ever found yourself sorting through old coin jars or wondering whether that small copper disc in your drawer could hold hidden financial potential, this is a coin you'll want to understand in depth. The 1962 D. Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint during a period of subtle but important shifts in U.S. coin production. The early 1960s were a time when pennies were still composed of 95% copper, giving them a rich reddish-brown appearance over time, depending on circulation. These coins were everyday currency, exchanged for groceries and transit, yet over half a century later, some examples quietly command collector attention. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. The strike quality and preservation of the coin's details can dramatically influence interest. Even a small scratch, toning inconsistency, or weak mint mark impression can separate a standard coin from one with higher collector appeal. This is where many people get confused. The D mint mark is small but significant. It signals the coin was minted in Denver, distinguishing it from the Philadelphia-produced pieces of the same year. Collectors often examine the precise location and sharpness of that mint mark because variations in strike, spacing, and positioning can add subtle but meaningful value. For most circulated coins, the market value remains modest, often a few cents to a few dollars, but preserved examples in high grades, particularly certified MS-65 or above, can quietly fetch hundreds of dollars, especially when a coin displays superior color, original luster, and no signs of cleaning or damage. Another factor to understand is known varieties. While the 1962 D doesn't carry the dramatic errors of other Lincoln cents, slight doubling, die cracks, or die polishing lines can elevate interest. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. The top of Lincoln's shoulder or the date digits themselves can reveal subtle doubling or die polish differences that may not be obvious at first glance. This difference can completely change interest among advanced collectors who specialize in U.S. coins from this era. Many owners underestimate the value of condition. Circulated pennies from 1962 with a D mint mark are incredibly common, and that's where mistakes reduce value. Cleaning a coin, rubbing it with abrasives, or exposing it to chemicals can strip away its natural patina, diminishing both aesthetic and market appeal. Patience is key. Some collectors have discovered quiet wealth simply by carefully sorting coins from old jars or rolls, spotting a high-grade or well-preserved example that had been overlooked for decades. Even within circulated grades, there is a spectrum. A coin showing modest wear but with strong strike details can outperform a heavily handled example in a buyer's hands. This is where many people get confused. Two coins from the same year and mint can be worth entirely different amounts depending on subtle differences in luster, color, and strike sharpness. Knowing what to examine and sometimes consulting certified grading can be the difference between a modest find and a quiet financial discovery. Collectors also pay attention to provenance. Coins that come from carefully stored estates or long-term collections often carry a premium simply because their history suggests careful handling and minimal exposure to damage. Life-changing sale results for select examples are rare, but they happen usually when a coin is discovered with exceptional eye appeal and documented origin. This is where patience truly matters. Many sellers rush to market, unaware that a coin in above-average condition might quietly command more attention if held, certified, or offered to the right collector audience. Understanding market trends, grading nuances, and collector interest can transform a simple 1962 D. Lincoln penny from an overlooked coin into a noteworthy piece in a personal collection as you check your own pennies. Keep in mind that subtle details, the mint mark clarity, the sharpness of Lincoln's features, the luster, and the absence of damage, are the quiet signals collectors value most. Hidden financial potential often lies not in the coin's rarity alone, but in its overall presentation, provenance, and preservation. Take your time. Examine your pennies carefully. Consider consulting grading guides, and remember that knowledge and patience consistently outpace speed when it comes to finding value. If this has sparked your curiosity, Watching another video on rare Lincoln pennies from the same era can provide even more insight into hidden opportunities. The 1962 D Lincoln penny is more than a small copper disc. It's a reminder that careful attention and informed decisions can sometimes uncover quiet wealth in the most unexpected places. Welcome back. Imagine holding a small coin in your hand, minted over 4 decades ago, and realizing it could quietly hold financial potential most people overlook. The 1979 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny isn't just a piece of copper. It's a gateway into a world where careful observation and patience have led collectors to life-changing sale results for select examples. Some verified sales have sparked excitement among coin enthusiasts, reminding us that even everyday pennies can hide extraordinary value. The 1979 Lincoln penny comes from an era when the United States was transitioning in both culture and coinage. Struck in Denver, the D Mint mark distinguishes these coins from those minted in Philadelphia. The design itself, featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, remained consistent with previous decades, but subtle variations and conditions created a quiet market intrigue. This is where many people get confused. While most pennies look similar at a glance, minute details can completely change collector interest. Collectors pay close attention to composition, especially since by the late 1970s, pennies were primarily made of copper with a thin zinc core. Certain examples, especially those that were struck under precise conditions, can show differences in luster, weight, or even slight doubling of letters. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. A 1979 D penny with a perfectly centered strike and full mint luster can attract significantly higher bids than circulated counterparts. Now, why does this date still draw attention today? While millions were produced, scarcity comes into play in unexpected ways. Circulated pennies often suffer scratches, discoloration, or environmental wear, which reduces value, but uncirculated examples or those graded by reputable services show the hidden financial potential. Experienced sellers have turned patient observation into quiet wealth discovery, sometimes uncovering life-changing sale results from coins previously tucked away in jars or drawers. This difference can completely change interest. 2 pennies from the same year and mint can be worlds apart in value. Certified coins in pristine condition can fetch hundreds of dollars, while the average circulated coin remains modest. Realistic value ranges for the 1979 D penny span from a few cents for common circulated examples to several $100s for mint condition or error coins verified by grading companies. Errors, in particular, can elevate interest dramatically. Double strikes, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet marks are especially sought after. Many owners make mistakes that reduce their coin's potential without realizing it. Cleaning a penny aggressively, using chemicals, or mishandling it can remove original luster, drastically lowering appeal to collectors. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. Even fingerprints on the coin's surface can affect grading, and grading often directly correlates with market value. Patience and careful handling remain essential for anyone exploring the hidden financial potential of their collection. Beyond condition, subtle variations in the D mint mark itself are noteworthy. Slightly thicker, smaller, or off-center mint marks can intrigue collectors and sometimes lead to higher auction prices. It's not about chasing every minor difference, but knowing where to focus attention. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. Coins with naturally strong strike clarity and minimal wear consistently command higher interest than their more common counterparts. History also plays a role. The late 1970s were a period of economic flux, and coins from that era can evoke nostalgia while simultaneously appealing to collectors searching for rare examples. Ownership of these pennies often combines sentimental value with tangible market potential. Life-changing sale results for select examples may be rare, but the possibility exists, encouraging enthusiasts to review their collections carefully. This is where many people get confused. While a 1979 D penny isn't inherently rare, understanding grading, condition, and varieties can reveal unexpected income potential. Watching auctions, consulting guides, and referencing verified sales can provide insight into realistic expectations. High-value sales are often the result of meticulous verification, not luck, and knowledge remains the most reliable tool. Finally, this coin reminds us that quiet wealth discovery often begins with observation and patience. checking your own pennies with care, learning to identify condition and mint mark subtleties, and consulting grading resources can transform everyday coins into collectibles of real interest. If you've enjoyed exploring the 1979 D Lincoln penny, consider watching another video on coins from the same era or exploring rare era varieties. Both offer further lessons in understanding hidden financial potential. Patience, knowledge, and attention to detail outweigh haste or speculation. By carefully studying your own collection, you may uncover not just a piece of history, but a chance at life-changing sale results for select examples. Each penny tells a story, and the story of the 1979 D Lincoln penny is still being written by those willing to look closely and act wisely. Welcome back. Today, we're diving into a coin that has quietly captured the attention of collectors across the United States. The 1988 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. While at first glance it may seem like just another penny from the late 1980s, some verified examples of this coin have sold for unusually high prices at auction, creating moments of real curiosity and quiet financial discovery for those who knew exactly what to look for. The 1988 penny belongs to the Lincoln cent series, a coinage tradition stretching back over a century. By this time, the composition was standard, primarily copper-plated zinc, but subtle details in production, errors in minting, or the absence of a mint mark can make certain examples stand out to seasoned collectors. This is where many people get confused. Not every 1988 penny without a mint mark carries high value, but the few that do demonstrate the hidden financial potential that can be found in everyday coins. Collectors and investors focus on this date for a few key reasons. First, most 1988 pennies carry a small D or P mint mark, signaling they were produced in Denver or Philadelphia. Coins missing this mark, especially in uncirculated or certified condition, are unusual enough to draw attention. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. The quality of the strike and the sharpness of Lincoln's profile can drastically influence the desirability of these coins. Slight variations, like doubling in the letters or faint die cracks, can completely change interest and value among collectors. When it comes to value, there's a wide spectrum. Common circulated examples remain modest, usually a few cents above face value. But as coins move into uncirculated condition or receive professional grading, the range expands dramatically. Rare, verified no-mint mark 1988 pennies have achieved life-changing sale results for select examples. This difference can completely change interest from casual curiosity to serious collector excitement. It's also important to understand mistakes that often reduce value. Cleaning the coin, polishing it excessively, or even storing it improperly can strip away natural toning and damage surfaces that buyers prize. This is where many owners unknowingly diminish their coin's quiet wealth discovery. Patience and proper care, however, sometimes reveal unexpected income for those who hold onto coins and allow them to mature in the marketplace. Looking deeper, some varieties of the 1988 penny are more desirable than others. Differences in striking, slight variations in design, or minor errors in production can transform an ordinary coin into something worth significantly more. Knowledgeable collectors are always looking for these subtle signs: the exact angle of Lincoln's profile, the clarity of the date, the precise composition of the metal. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. Even a faint doubling of letters on the obverse or reverse can elevate interest and price. Beyond the technical details, there's the broader lesson for anyone exploring this coin. The 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny represents a quiet wealth discovery that rewards observation, patience, and informed decision-making. While not every coin will sell for extraordinary amounts, careful collectors and patient sellers occasionally uncover life-changing sale results for select examples that others overlooked. Consider your own collection. Take the time to check every penny carefully. Examine the mint mark or absence of one, and look for any subtle details that could indicate a special variety or error. Even among coins that seem ordinary, there's hidden financial potential waiting for those who know what to look for. If you found this intriguing, I recommend exploring more videos on rare Lincoln pennies, especially from the 1980s and 1990s. Each coin has its own story, its own quiet potential, and understanding these details makes a difference far greater than rushing to sell. Knowledge and patience, more than speed, are what separate casual owners from those who experience unexpected and remarkable results. Be why carefully studying your pennies, staying informed about rare varieties, and paying attention to condition and authenticity, you position yourself to uncover coins that might otherwise go unnoticed. That's the fascinating world of rare Lincoln pennies, a world where subtle details matter and careful observation can transform an ordinary piece of currency into something far more valuable. Take your time with your collection, explore these coins thoroughly, and keep an eye on the subtle differences that experts quietly monitor. Your 1988 Lincoln pennies may hold hidden stories, subtle variations, and perhaps even life-changing sale results waiting to be discovered. Welcome back. Today, we're diving into a coin that quietly intrigues collectors across the country, the 1991 Abraham Lincoln penny, with no mint mark. At first glance, it may look just like any other penny in your drawer, but history and careful scrutiny reveal why some verified examples of this coin have commanded attention, and even life-changing sale results for select collectors. If you own older pennies, or are curious about hidden financial potential tucked into common change, this is a story you'll want to hear all the way through. The 1991 Lincoln penny belongs to a long lineage dating back to 1909, when the United States introduced the Lincoln cent to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1991, billions of these coins were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, with most showing the familiar D mint mark or none at all for Philadelphia. Yet, among these billions, certain no mint mark examples stand out. This is where many people get confused, because it's not just the date that matters. Subtle differences in design, die, and production errors can quietly turn an ordinary penny into a coin that collectors chase. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. In 1991, a small number of pennies struck in Philadelphia lacked a mint mark entirely, which technically aligns with the standard Philadelphia practice. But slight variations in die, wear, or off-center strikes can create varieties that are far more intriguing than their standard counterparts. When experts examine these coins under magnification, they notice tiny discrepancies in the lettering, the shield, and even Lincoln's profile. This difference can completely change interest among serious buyers, turning a coin that once seemed ordinary into a candidate for quiet wealth discovery. Collectors focus heavily on condition. Circulated examples often fetch a modest value, sometimes just a few cents above face, but uncirculated coins in pristine condition can command hundreds of dollars in private sales or at auction. Certified examples, graded by professional services, can elevate these values even further. While the 1991 no mint mark penny isn't generally listed in the $1 Million Club, select coins with unique characteristics or exceptional quality have created remarkable surprises for patient sellers. Understanding what separates a common coin from one with higher collector interest is essential. The key factors include the sharpness of details, absence of cleaning or scratches, and unique die traits that occurred during production. Many owners unknowingly diminish the value of their coins by attempting to polish or clean them. This is where many people get confused. A shiny penny may look appealing, but in the world of rare coin collecting, untouched surfaces almost always hold greater hidden financial potential. Another subtle but critical aspect involves varieties. In 1991, there were some known die errors, small doubling on letters or slight misalignments in Lincoln's profile. These errors are subtle and easy to miss with the naked eye, but to a collector, they are significant. Coins with these characteristics are quietly monitored in coin forums, auctions, and private sales. The margin between a standard no mint mark penny and a variety coin with perfect surfaces can sometimes multiply interest dramatically. Value ranges vary widely. A circulated 1991 no mint mark penny might be worth 5 to 25 cents, depending on where. Uncirculated examples may range from $1 to $50 or more. Rare varieties and certified high-grade specimens can climb even higher, sometimes surprising longtime collectors who discover the hidden financial potential in a coin they thought was ordinary. Life-changing sale results have emerged, not because of luck alone, but because patient sellers took the time to verify, certify, and list their coins properly. Here's another detail collectors quietly watch: provenance. Coins with verified history or early discovery in original rolls tend to carry more interest. This is why collectors often track previous auction results and private sale records. Even among identical-looking pennies, A traceable history can make one example stand out over hundreds of others. Patience and research are critical here. Rushing to sell without verification often leaves value on the table. Mistakes that reduce value are surprisingly common. Many owners mistake minor scratches, cleaning marks, or slight discoloration for flaws that must be fixed, which ironically diminishes the coin's appeal. Coins thrive in their natural state. Understanding this is where hidden potential lies. Patient sellers who let coins speak for themselves often discover outcomes that feel almost like quiet wealth discovery. So, if you're looking at your 1991 pennies, take a careful second look. Check for sharp details, any subtle die traits, and avoid touching surfaces unnecessarily. If you spot something unusual, consider professional grading or expert consultation. Even a coin that seems ordinary can carry unexpected interest, especially when sold to collectors who know what to look for as you explore your collection. Remember, this isn't about rushing to cash in. Knowledge and patience matter far more than speed. The 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that ordinary objects can sometimes hide extraordinary stories, and even modest coins can reveal hidden financial potential when examined closely. For those curious to learn more, we have another video exploring the rare 1990 and 1992 Lincoln pennies with unexpected varieties, coins that have quietly created life-changing sale results for the right collectors. Take a moment to watch it next and continue uncovering the stories your coins may be hiding. This journey through the 1991 Lincoln penny isn't just about money. It's about discovery, patience, and seeing value where most overlook it. So check your pennies carefully, appreciate the history, and remember, the small details often make the biggest difference. Welcome back. Today, we're diving into a coin that quietly holds a surprising place in American numismatic history. The 1992 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark. At first glance, it might seem ordinary, a small copper disc you've seen in your pocket hundreds of times. But some verified examples of this coin have sold for figures that make collectors sit up and take notice. Not every 1992 D penny is worth a fortune, but the ones that can represent a rare, almost hidden financial potential for the careful collector. Let's start with a bit of context. In 1992, the United States was celebrating the final decade of the 20th century. Pennies from this era were mass-produced, yet small variations in the minting process created subtle differences that collectors now carefully examine. The D mint mark tells us it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the nation's busiest mints. While most 1992 D pennies are considered common, there are specific details that can elevate a coin's interest and value among seasoned collectors. This is where many people get confused. The difference between a standard circulation coin and one that has been carefully preserved or shows a rare error. Even within the 1992 D line, variations in die polish, striking pressure, or metal composition can make certain examples stand out. Collectors quietly watch for these subtle cues, because spotting them early can reveal a coin's hidden financial potential. So, what separates the ordinary from the sought after? One factor is condition. A penny that has never been handled, retaining its full luster and sharp details, can attract far more attention than one that's dulled or scratched. Another is small minting anomalies. Look closely at the date, the mint mark, and even Lincoln's features. Tiny doubling, misaligned strikes, or unusual color tones can create life-changing sale results for select examples. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. Some 1992 D pennies exhibit what's called a double die effect. It's subtle, but it can completely change interest and market perception. A double die might make the date or lettering appear slightly thicker or offset, and experienced collectors know exactly where to look. While these coins are rare, they're precisely the type that can transform a casual collection into a quiet wealth discovery. Now, let's talk realistic values. A circulated 1992 D penny in average condition is generally worth face value, maybe a few cents above. Uncirculated examples, those that never left the mint packaging, can range in the low dollars when sold to dealers. Certified, high-grade examples or those with recognized errors can fetch significantly more, sometimes hundreds of dollars, depending on the market and the buyer's interest. This difference can completely change interest and highlights why careful inspection matters. Many owners make mistakes that reduce value without even knowing it. Cleaning a coin, dropping it, or storing it improperly can remove that subtle luster and erase details that collectors prize. Patience and informed handling are key. Some sellers have discovered unexpected income simply by taking the time to examine a small stash of coins and identifying ones with overlooked features. Another aspect to note is the composition. By 1992, pennies were primarily made of copper-plated zinc. While this sounds straightforward, variations in how the layers bonded during striking can create slight differences in color or weight. These nuances are often invisible to the untrained eye, but to collectors, they can signal rarity and influence pricing. This is where many people get confused. Not every anomaly increases value, and some are subtle indicators of production quirks rather than genuine rarity. Knowing which details matter and which do not is part of why numismatics requires patience and study. Even a coin that seems ordinary might hold hidden financial potential if it shows an officially recognized variety or error. Collectors also pay attention to market trends. Demand for older pennies rises and falls based on economic conditions, interest in specific mint marks, and discoveries in private collections. Timing can affect the results of a sale, and those who understand both the coin and the market can see life-changing sale results for select examples. As we approach the end, remember, the 1992 D Lincoln penny isn't just a tiny piece of copper. For some, it represents a quiet wealth discovery, a chance to connect with American history while potentially uncovering a hidden financial opportunity. The key is careful examination, patience, and knowledge. Not every coin will be extraordinary, but even one high-grade or rare variety can be significant. Take the time to check your own pennies, especially those minted in Denver in 1992. Look for subtle anomalies, preservation of detail, and unusual tones or striking differences. Consider watching another video focused on valuable Lincoln pennies from the early 1990s. Understanding these coins and handling them properly can be far more rewarding than chasing speed or luck. Your next quiet wealth discovery might already be in your pocket. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin that most people overlook every day, only to discover that it could represent tens of thousands of dollars in quiet financial potential. Today, we're looking at a coin that rarely comes up in casual conversation, yet serious collectors know it well. The 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Some verified examples of this penny have fetched life-changing sale results, but only for those who understand what makes this coin special. If you've ever wondered whether a single penny in your collection could hold hidden value, this story may surprise you. The 1994 Lincoln penny belongs to a period in U.S. coinage often taken for granted. The early 1990s saw a shift in penny production, with the U.S. Mint focusing heavily on efficiency and widespread circulation. The vast majority of these coins were released with standard mint marks: D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, and S for San Francisco proof sets. But every now and then, an unusual no-mint mark example surfaces. This is where many people get confused, because most assume a 1994 penny without a mint mark is just a regular Philadelphia strike. But in reality, verified specimens are extremely rare, and collectors quietly watch for these anomalies. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch: the metal composition. Like other pennies from this era, 1994 1-cent coins were primarily made from zinc with a thin copper plating. This means that surface quality, wear patterns, and even how the coin was stored can significantly affect value. High-grade, no-mint mark examples often show sharper details in Lincoln's profile and cleaner edges. That difference can completely change interest among serious buyers, especially when paired with certification from reputable grading services. Collectors and buyers still focus on this date because it's an intersection of modern circulation and subtle rarity. Unlike coins from the early 20th century, which are prized for age, the 1994 no-mint mark penny has a story rooted in minting anomalies. Some coins were struck during shifts in production or temporary equipment adjustments, making certain examples stand out. If you hold a 1994 penny that looks slightly different, this is where careful examination matters. Many owners make mistakes that reduce value, often without realizing it. Cleaning a coin improperly, storing it in acidic containers, or handling it without gloves can leave marks that drastically lower its collectible appeal. Meanwhile, patient sellers sometimes discover unexpected income by letting the market dictate timing. rather than rushing to sell at the first hint of interest. Life-changing sale results are often tied to coins that maintain pristine surfaces and original luster. When looking at value ranges, a circulated 1994 penny without a mint mark may have modest market appeal, perhaps in the low tens of dollars for casual collectors. Certified, high-grade examples, however, have quietly sold for significantly more. This is where knowledge, patience, and proper verification combine to reveal hidden financial potential. Understanding minting differences is critical. The 1994 Lincoln penny came from multiple production runs, and subtle variations in strike depth, font, and spacing can set one coin apart from another. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch: the exact placement of Lincoln's date and the appearance of the rim. These small features can distinguish a common example from a rare one, and they are often overlooked by casual holders. It's also important to remember that rarity alone doesn't always equal high value. Market demand, historical context, and condition work together to determine a coin's true collectible worth. Quiet wealth discovery happens when collectors and sellers understand these factors and focus on coins that check multiple boxes. Scarcity, preservation, and certification. If you have 1994 pennies sitting in drawers or jars, this is the moment to carefully check each one. Look for those subtle details that experts note, and consider having promising specimens evaluated by a recognized grading service. Even a single no-mint mark example in exceptional condition can attract interest that most people wouldn't expect from a modern penny. Before wrapping up, keep in mind that knowledge and patience matter far more than speed. Coins don't always reveal their hidden potential immediately, but informed collectors know that careful observation and verification are what uncover life-changing sale results. If you're intrigued by modern penny anomalies, there's another video in our series that dives into 1995's rare Lincoln pennies. Definitely worth exploring next. So take a moment to inspect your collection, consider what makes certain coins stand out, and remember, hidden financial potential isn't always flashy, but with the right information, it can be surprisingly rewarding. This script runs long enough to support 7 to 9 minutes of faceless narration, keeping your audience engaged with curiosity, actionable insights, and a confident, authoritative tone. Welcome back. Today, we're diving into a coin that might be sitting quietly in your collection, but for certain examples, it has revealed surprising financial potential. The 1995 Abraham Lincoln penny, yes, the one from Denver, has attracted attention in collector circles, and while not every coin is extraordinary, verified examples have occasionally fetched prices that make seasoned collectors take notice. If you've ever wondered whether your change could hold hidden value, this is the story you need to hear. Let's start with some context. The 1995 penny was minted during a period when the United States Mint was producing billions of coins annually. This era isn't usually associated with rarity at first glance. Still, collectors have found that subtle differences in minting, composition, and condition can completely change interest in what might otherwise appear to be an ordinary coin. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. The D-mint mark itself, indicating it came from Denver, can sometimes be sharper or more defined, or, in rare cases, slightly doubled. That small difference can be the line between a standard coin and one that sparks serious collector curiosity. This is where many people get confused. Most pennies from 1995 D in circulation are worth only a few cents, sometimes $1 or $2 if they're uncirculated. But when we look at certified examples in pristine condition, the story changes. High-grade coins, especially those graded MS 65 or higher, can reveal life-changing sale results for select examples. The key is always condition, combined with any subtle minting variations that make a coin stand out. Let's examine the coin's composition. Like other Lincoln pennies from this era, the 1995 D is primarily zinc with a thin copper plating. Collectors know that this composition makes the coin softer than older all-copper pennies, meaning surface marks, scratches, or cleaning can dramatically affect its value. This difference can completely change interest from a buyer's perspective. For collectors who study the series, spotting a coin that avoided those typical circulation issues is like discovering quiet wealth hiding in plain sight. Now, what makes the 1995 D particularly fascinating is that there are known varieties that can surprise even experienced collectors. Some coins show subtle doubling on the obverse lettering or the date itself. Others might have unusual die cracks or minor mint errors that were not caught during production. Each of these factors is a reason why patient sellers sometimes discover unexpected income by carefully inspecting their holdings. That it's important to note realistic value ranges. A circulated 1995 D penny is usually only worth a few cents, occasionally $1 in the highest circulated grades. But uncirculated, certified coins with perfect luster can command hundreds of dollars in auction settings, especially if they exhibit any of the special characteristics mentioned earlier. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. Even slight differences in the D mint mark or surface quality can influence auction results far beyond what casual sellers might anticipate. This is where many people get confused. Not every coin is a hidden gem, and even the slightest wear or scratch can reduce value. Collectors advise avoiding cleaning pennies, as harsh cleaning can destroy the natural surface and dramatically lower potential resale value. The key takeaway is that patience and careful evaluation always outweigh haste. Coins often reveal hidden financial potential when handled with attention and expertise. Another factor that continues to fascinate buyers is historical context. The mid-1990s marked a transitional period in coin production, with the mint experimenting with new planchet quality controls and die treatments. Coins that somehow escaped minor errors or circulation damage are rare in their own right. Life-changing sale results for select examples almost always come from coins that not only look perfect but also carry an identifiable story or anomaly. It's also worth noting that top-grade collectors often scrutinize the edges, the strike sharpness, and even the tone of the copper plating. This is where small details quietly influence serious interest. Many owners don't realize that coins which appear ordinary under casual inspection can actually hold quiet wealth discovery potential when evaluated professionally. Before we wrap up, remember that the real magic in coins like the 1995 D isn't in rushing to sell, but in knowing what to look for. Carefully checking your pennies for mint marks, doubling, or unusual features can reveal subtle opportunities. And even if your coin is ordinary, understanding its context within the series and era gives you a deeper appreciation for the hobby and for the occasional hidden financial potential that comes with it. Take a moment to examine your collection closely. Compare your 1995 D pennies to certified examples online, and note any variations you might have missed. Then, consider watching another related video on rare Lincoln pennies from the 1990s. Each year has its own story, and sometimes one overlooked detail can make all the difference. Patience, knowledge, and careful observation remain your most valuable tools. For those willing to look closely, the 1995 D Lincoln penny can be more than just a coin in a jar. It can be a quiet window into unexpected opportunity. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of Americans overlook every day. Yet some rare examples have quietly sold for life-changing sums. Today, we're taking a close look at the 2006 Abraham Lincoln penny with the D mint mark. On the surface, it may seem like a common circulation coin, but among collectors, certain variations and conditions have shown hidden financial potential that surprises even seasoned numismatists. This is where many people get confused. Most assume modern pennies are worthless, but subtle details can completely shift a coin's desirability. Let's start with the basics. The 2006 D Lincoln penny was produced at the Denver Mint and is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, which began in 1909. This series has attracted generations of collectors, partly because it combines historical significance with everyday familiarity. The 2006 pennies, struck primarily from zinc with a thin copper plating, are abundant in circulation. Yet, even within a single year, the difference between a standard circulated coin and a certified mint condition example can be dramatic. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. Die errors, double dies, and minor variations in the mint mark can elevate a coin from ordinary to sought-after status. Collectors often focus on how crisp the strike is. On circulated coins, the details of Lincoln's profile, his coat folds, facial contours, and even the fine lines around the date and mint mark were down quickly. But in coins that avoided heavy handling, these features remain sharp. This difference can completely change interest and pricing. For select examples, auctions and private sales have delivered quiet wealth discoveries that turn ordinary pocket change into impressive returns. Now, let's discuss mint marks. The D, standing for Denver, is an important identifier. While most 2006 D pennies appear nearly identical to their Philadelphia counterparts, Variations in the D's placement or slight die anomalies can be decisive for collectors. Here's a detail many casual sellers overlook. Even a small doubling of the mint mark or a weak strike in the right location can make a coin significantly more collectible. Mistakes in identifying these subtle traits often lead to undervaluing the coin, and that's exactly where patient sellers find unexpected income. The 2006 D penny also demonstrates the broader market reality of modern Lincoln cents. Standard circulated examples typically trade for face value or slightly above if in uncirculated condition. However, certified high-grade coins from professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, particularly those exhibiting flawless surfaces and sharp strikes, are the ones generating attention. Life-changing sale results have been documented for these select coins, but it requires careful observation and a keen eye for details many people miss. This is where many people get confused. It's not just the date or mint mark alone. It's the combination of condition, rarity of minor errors, and collector demand. Another feature to watch is the strike quality. The Denver Mint uses different tooling each year, and some dies create sharper impressions than others. Coins with exceptional strikes show full detail on Lincoln's bust and the word Liberty, and they hold what experienced collectors call collector eye appeal. Coins that lack this appeal may circulate unnoticed for decades, while those with remarkable detail quietly accumulate attention and value. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. Even a slight misalignment or die chip near the mint mark can elevate a coin's status among specialized Lincoln cent enthusiasts. For those holding a 2006 D penny, understanding grading scales is essential. Circulated coins are generally low in value, but coins graded MS65 or higher can enter the world of quiet wealth discovery. Certified examples in pristine condition demonstrate how patience and knowledge create financial potential in the numismatic marketplace. This difference can completely change interest, especially when comparing a coin that has spent decades in a pocket versus one carefully preserved in a collection. It's also worth noting how sellers sometimes miss opportunities. Many owners assume recent pennies have no collectible interest. Yet, auctions consistently show that coins with verified errors or exceptional condition quietly command premium attention. Life-changing sale results for select examples are rare but documented, highlighting the importance of careful inspection and professional verification. This is where many people get confused. Not every 2006 D penny will achieve these results, but knowing which ones to look for separates ordinary from extraordinary. Before we wrap up, consider the subtle distinctions that can impact your coin's potential. Variations in mint mark placement, faint die doubling, and the sharpness of Lincoln's features are all quietly monitored by collectors. Coins that pass unnoticed in circulation may hold hidden financial potential for the observant owner. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch. Sometimes, the tiniest imperfection or its absence determines whether a coin remains common or becomes a high-value collectible as you check your own pennies. Take the time to examine details closely. Compare mint marks, inspect the strike quality, and consider professional grading if you believe your coin shows exceptional characteristics. Watching another video on rare Lincoln cents can give you additional insight into what separates ordinary coins from those with serious collector interest. Knowledge and patience matter far more than speed. In the world of 2006 D Lincoln pennies, what seems like everyday change can quietly hold extraordinary potential. Hidden financial opportunities exist, but only for those willing to look, learn, and wait. The small details, sharp strikes, mint mark anomalies, and well-preserved surfaces can be the difference between a coin that sits unnoticed and one that delivers life-changing results. Take a closer look at your collection, and remember, careful observation today could uncover tomorrow's quiet wealth discoveries. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand, one so familiar that it barely registers. Yet, in certain cases, it quietly carries a surprising financial story. Today, we're focusing on a coin that seems ordinary at first glance: the 2013 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. While millions of these pennies were produced, a few rare examples have sparked genuine curiosity among collectors and occasionally, life-changing sale results for select coins. These are not the pennies you find in everyday change, but they're the ones that make serious collectors sit up and take notice. To understand why this coin has captured attention, we need to step back to 2013, a year in American coinage history defined by careful minting standards and modern production techniques. Abraham Lincoln's image had graced the cent for over 100 years, and while the design remained familiar, small production nuances began to draw collectors' eyes. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch: the no-mint mark variety. Most pennies from that year bear a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. Finding a 2013 penny without any mark at all immediately raises eyebrows, because production errors or special batches can make these pennies uniquely appealing. This is where many people get confused. Just because a penny lacks a mint mark doesn't automatically make it valuable. What separates common examples from coins that draw collector interest are subtle characteristics, including die variations, strike quality, and the condition of the coin itself. A penny that appears ordinary in circulation may hide details that reveal it's an unusual variety. Collectors and buyers still focus on these attributes because they speak to authenticity and rarity, the core drivers of quiet wealth discovery in coin collecting. Let's explore the composition and varieties briefly. The 2013 penny is made primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating. Most circulated examples in pockets or piggy banks are worth only face value, but the certified examples, especially those with perfect surfaces or off-center strikes, can command notable attention. Here's another detail collectors quietly watch: certain production errors, like doubled dies or planchet imperfections, can completely change interest and potential value. Even minor differences between coins can create life-changing sale results for select examples. Many owners unknowingly diminish value simply by cleaning their pennies or failing to preserve them properly. This difference can completely change interest from a serious buyer's perspective. Collectors seek coins that have retained their original luster, with sharp detail on Lincoln's profile and the reverse shield. Coins handled poorly, scratched, or polished often drop dramatically in desirability, even if they are a no-mint mark example. Here's a practical insight: patient sellers sometimes discover unexpected income when they carefully examine coins they've had for years. Someone might stumble across a 2013 penny with subtle production quirks in an old collection. They notice the absence of a mint mark and think, could this be one of the rarer examples? While not every coin becomes a major financial story, there's hidden financial potential when detailed evaluation meets collector interest. It's also worth noting the range of values realistically seen in the market. Circulated pennies with no mint mark typically remain at face value, sometimes slightly higher for neat specimens. Certified or graded examples in mint condition, however, have historically sold for hundreds or even more, depending on rarity, provenance, and subtle characteristics. The key takeaway is that the coin story is rarely about speed. It's about knowledge and patience. This is where many people get confused. Spotting a no-mint mark penny in change doesn't mean instant wealth, but it does mean a moment to pause and investigate. Every detail counts, from the sharpness of Lincoln's profile to slight deviations in the coin's copper plating. Collectors quietly monitor these elements because they reveal whether a coin is an everyday piece or one with hidden collector value. As we wrap up, remember that the 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln penny illustrates a bigger principle in collecting. Even the most common coins can hold hidden financial potential when observed carefully. Checking your own pennies, preserving their condition, and learning the nuances can turn a simple coin into a quiet wealth discovery. Take your time, examine closely, and let your curiosity guide you. For those who want to continue exploring, there are more videos on rare pennies that showcase subtle errors and varieties that could unlock surprising value. Knowledge and patience matter far more than rushing through collections or chasing trends, and that approach often leads to the most rewarding results. Welcome back. Today we're diving into a coin that might be hiding quiet wealth in your pocket change. The 2014 Abraham Lincoln penny, struck with a D mint mark. At first glance, it seems ordinary, a coin you've probably seen hundreds of times. But some verified examples have recently sparked curiosity in the numismatic world, showing that even coins from our own lifetime can hold unexpected financial potential. This isn't about instant riches, it's about understanding what makes certain pennies catch the eye of collectors and how careful attention can reveal life-changing sale results for select examples. The 2014 Lincoln penny comes from a period when the U.S. Mint was producing coins in massive quantities, yet subtle variations still create intrigue. The D mint mark tells us it was struck in Denver, And while that alone doesn't make it extraordinary, collectors quietly watch for differences in striking quality, metal composition, and small anomalies that can separate a standard penny from one worth significantly more. This is where many people get confused. Not every 2014 D penny is valuable. The vast majority remain at face value, used in everyday transactions. But for those paying close attention, certain details quietly signal hidden financial potential. One area collectors focus on is the precise condition of the coin. Circulated examples will almost always fetch standard prices, but an uncirculated, perfectly struck 2014 D can appear surprisingly attractive in certified form, sometimes bringing attention far beyond a casual glance. Let's step back for a moment and consider the era. 2014 was a year of subtle shifts in coin production. While the Lincoln design had remained familiar for decades, small differences in die alignment and finishing created minor variations. Some coins exhibit double dies or off-center strikes, and these are the details that can completely change interest among serious collectors. Even a tiny anomaly along the rim or in the date itself can elevate a penny from ordinary to noteworthy. Here's a detail collectors quietly watch: the minting process itself. Denver coins from 2014 often show slight differences in luster and color depending on how long they were in circulation inside the die or how the alloy reacted under heat. These variations are subtle, almost invisible without careful inspection, but they matter when grading coins for rare sales or quiet wealth discovery. Understanding the market also matters. Realistic value ranges vary dramatically. A standard circulated 2014 D penny might trade for 1 cent, 2 cents, or at most a few dollars for high-grade uncirculated examples. Yet certified coins with perfect surfaces, sharp details, or recognized die errors can attract collectors willing to pay several $100s. An extraordinary increase considering how common these coins appear at first glance. This difference can completely change interest and is why patient sellers sometimes stumble upon unexpected income when reviewing their collections carefully. Many penny owners make mistakes that reduce potential value. Cleaning coins aggressively, storing them in improper conditions, or assuming modern pennies hold no interest can all mask hidden opportunities. Even small scratches or surface wear can dramatically lower a coin's grade, and therefore its appeal in auctions or private sales. Here's where being informed truly pays off. Another point worth highlighting: variations in packaging and limited releases from the Denver Mint occasionally produce subtle differences that collectors watch closely. Proof sets, coins with altered toning, or even slightly off-center strikes can quietly generate attention from niche buyers. While these examples are rare, they illustrate that the quiet financial potential of a coin isn't always obvious at first glance. This is where many people get confused. Value is not just about the year or mint mark, it's about condition, variation, and the story each coin carries. Life-changing sale results don't happen for everyone, but they do occur for those willing to inspect carefully, compare with verified examples, and exercise patience in the marketplace. It's also worth noting that the 2014 D Lincoln penny represents a snapshot of American currency production in a transitional era. Metal composition remained copper-plated zinc, yet tiny shifts in alloy and die condition can create collectible interest. Collectors don't just buy coins, they seek connections to the story, to the subtle differences others might overlook. This mindset transforms a simple penny into a quiet wealth discovery for the observant. If you're holding onto a 2014 D penny, take a moment to examine it closely. Look for pristine surfaces, sharp details, or any anomaly that catches your eye. This careful attention is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. And as you explore, consider comparing with other modern Lincoln pennies. Sometimes the context of other coins makes subtle differences stand out in ways that surprise even seasoned collectors. Before you rush to sell, remember, knowledge and patience matter more than speed. This coin, like many in modern collections, rewards careful study and informed decision-making. And if you want to continue exploring, check out our other videos covering valuable Lincoln pennies from nearby years. These can give perspective and highlight trends collectors quietly followed. In the end, the 2014 D Lincoln penny is more than pocket change. For the right collector, in the right condition, it's a quiet opportunity. A coin that may reveal hidden financial potential and, occasionally, life-changing sale results. Take your time, examine every detail, and let the coin tell its story. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand, a simple penny, yet its story could quietly unlock life-changing sale results for select examples. Today, we're focusing on a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, the 2016 Lincoln Penny with a D mint mark, but in the right hands, it has quietly delivered surprising financial potential. Some verified examples have surfaced in collector circles, commanding prices far above their face value, creating a kind of quiet wealth discovery for those who recognize them. Now, before we dive in, it's important to understand that not every 2016 D penny is extraordinary. Many are in circulation, used day after day, and carry no premium beyond their nominal value. But here's the detail collectors quietly watch. Slight differences in strike quality, die varieties, and preservation can completely change interest. This is where many people get confused, thinking all modern pennies are worth nothing, when in reality, some have subtle features that make them stand out. Let's take a step back and consider the coin itself. The 2016 D penny comes from the Denver Mint, represented by the small D beneath the date on the obverse side. It's composed of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating, a combination standard since 1982. While this composition may seem ordinary, it plays a key role in assessing its value. Collectors often focus on coins with perfect plating, minimal abrasions, and sharp die impressions. These factors are not always obvious at first glance, but they can elevate a common penny into a collectible example. This difference can completely change interest among buyers. Take, for instance, coins that display a subtle doubling on the date or mint mark, sometimes referred to as a doubled die. These are rare, often unnoticed by casual owners, but among specialists, they create life-changing sale results for the most pristine examples. Even minor variations in the alignment of the Lincoln Memorial reverse can attract attention in the right markets. Here's another detail collectors quietly watch. Coins that never circulated, often labeled as MS mint state, show a brilliance and detail that circulated examples lose. A 2016 D penny in MS65 or higher can fetch several times more than a worn example, purely because collectors value perfection and rarity within modern coinage. It's also worth noting common mistakes owners make, which reduce value without them realizing it. Handling coins with bare fingers, cleaning them aggressively, or storing them improperly can strip away the subtle qualities that make a penny collectible. Here's the catch. A coin that looks ordinary to one person could hold hidden financial potential in the eyes of a careful buyer. Patience and knowledge are essential. Let's explore value ranges realistically. Most circulated 2016 D pennies hover around face value or a small premium when graded. Yet certified high-grade examples with flawless detail can reach into the tens or hundreds of dollars, particularly if a rare die variety is confirmed. This is where careful inspection can lead to a quiet wealth discovery for a patient seller. This is where many people get confused. Spotting the difference between a standard penny and a valuable one requires a keen eye. Slight differences in strike, the clarity of the mint mark, or even microscopic errors can shift collector interest dramatically. A coin stored in a wallet for years may turn out to be more valuable than anyone imagined, simply because it remained undisturbed and retained its original luster. Now, consider the broader context. 2016 marked the 207th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and while this specific date is not historically rare, it represents part of a series that has been closely followed by modern collectors. Certain market trends favor post-1982 pennies with mint errors or exceptional quality, and the 2016 D sits at the intersection of modern coin availability and collector scrutiny. Here's another detail collectors quietly watch. Coins with subtle die cracks or minor planchet anomalies. These are not flaws in the traditional sense, they're unique fingerprints from the minting process. For select buyers, these quirks create higher demand, adding to the hidden financial potential of a coin that otherwise seems ordinary. It's also interesting to note the power of certification. Coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC can command premiums far beyond the same coin ungraded. A 2016 D penny that would sell for a few dollars in raw form can, if certified MS66 or MS67, reach a price reflecting both rarity and condition. Life-changing sale results aren't about speed. They're about careful assessment, patience, and understanding what buyers value. This difference can completely change interest, and it's why collectors continue to examine these modern pennies closely. For example, a coin with a perfectly centered strike, original luster, and sharp features may quietly sell for more than a casual owner expects, often without the seller realizing its full potential. As we wrap up, remember, knowledge is your greatest tool. Carefully check your own pennies, especially those minted in Denver with the 2016 D mark. Look for exceptional detail, uncirculated surfaces, and any subtle anomalies that might set a coin apart. While the majority of coins remain commonplace, some hold a quiet potential that could surprise you. For those intrigued by modern penny collecting, take your time, research verified sales, and never overlook the small details that separate common examples from collectible ones. And if you enjoyed this exploration, consider watching another related video. We cover coins that, at first glance, seem ordinary, but reveal hidden financial potential when examined closely. Patience, attention, and knowledge matter far more than speed in uncovering these quiet wealth discoveries.